I have burnt a lot of expensive candles, and I've also burnt a lot of cheap ones. But the truth that nobody ever tells you is that the price and performance are not always correlated. There are $150 candles that will disappoint you. They look great, but they burn terribly. But there are also $20 candles that smell amazing and people walk into your home and they're like, that smells so good. So what's the tea? Are expensive candles worth it? So in this video, we're going to talk about what expensive candles are made of, what actually makes them worth it, and then I'm going to share a list of a few really affordable candles that will make you think that they're expensive. Let's get into it. And there's nothing worse than buying a $90 candle, a $150 candle. You bring it to your home, you light it, and it doesn't smell great, or you don't even get any smell at all, and you're like, what did I just buy? Like a bookend? Which for some people, they say is fine because it's actually a stat, which I can't find, but a lot of people buy candles because they're actually home decor. So for them, it's like wellness, home, it's something decorative, basically decor. So they just want the vessel. But I always say like a good candle must smell really good because that is what we're buying. We're buying the juice that's in the wax, and you want it to be really good. So we need a way to decipher what is good and what is bad. And I'm someone who's burned a lot of candles. I've probably tried 1,000 candles in my time. I have a lot that are archived. I recommend a lot of candles, so I think I have a pretty good sense of what's good. I actually wrote a book called Let It Burn, How to Illuminate Your Life with Candles and Fragrance. Check it out, Amazon, wherever you buy books. But I think about this all the time, and I really want people to find stuff that is really, really good. Before we get into what makes a candle great, how did we even get here to these big prices? Well, the candle market was valued at $15 billion in 2024, and it's projected to hit $25 billion in 2034. So this is big business. 80% of fragrance users say that fragrance and candles help uplift their mood. So you're not only talking about making a place smell good, you're also talking about elevating like people's lifestyles. People will get a candle if they need to decompress, if they want to make the home feel like a spa, if they want a little bit of a refresh, if they want a little bit of an unwind. So you're really dealing with not just smell, but like the psychology of self. And then in the candle market, the luxury candles is one of the fastest growing segments in the market. They say it's growing at 12% year over year, which is not slow. It's like fast and steady. It's not like a hyper growth, but it's still growing. So there's a bigger pie. And you have brands like Le Labo, Lafco, Byredo, which have kind of positioned candles not just as something nice to have, but really as like a lifestyle symbol. So there is the need to want to elevate your smell, but also need to elevate your life. And this really took off in the pandemic. Everyone was at home wanting their spaces to smell good. We were kind of like all cooped up, and the candle market boomed. Some of that has softened a little bit, but people still love candles, and that's why they feel okay spending $70, $80, $90, $100 or more on a candle. But this is where the confusion happens, because you have this market boom, this price boom, and now we're like, am I getting value or am I getting played? And you never want to feel played. You always want to feel like you're getting the bang for your buck. So let's get into what makes a candle good. Normally when I review a candle, I say it needs to have 3 things: the scent, the style, and the strength. But we're going to go a little bit deeper here. We're going to look at 5 things. We're going to look at the wax, the fragrance load, the fragrance oil quality, the wick, and the throw, both the hot and the cold throw. Let's start with the wax. The wax is really the engine because it helps transport the fragrance oil up the wick and then be burnt. And you want a wax that gives throw, but some people want something that's really clean. If you want the biggest throw, candle brands will put paraffin wax. It's petroleum based. It carries a high fragrance load. It's cheap to make, so you can get a lower priced candle, but it does create a lot of soot. You can see when it's burning sometimes. It's a personal choice, and there's a lot of back and forth whether it's good or bad because carcinogens, but like this is not that video. Look into that. But for a lot of those really, really bold, strong candles, they have a high paraffin wax load, or it's all pure paraffin wax in order to get that scent to move in the room. And then you have soy wax, which is one of my favorites. It's renewable, it burns slower, it Actually, I think burns at a higher temperature. I might be wrong, but it doesn't carry fragrance load as well. So sometimes you burn a soy wax candle and you're like, where's the smell? It's just a different composition. So it takes a really great brand or perfumer to formulate a wax that, a soy wax and fragrance load combo that really throws. And no, it doesn't burn. It doesn't burn at a higher temperature. It actually burns at a cooler temperature. I'm pretty sure. Somebody looked that up. Another wax I like is coconut wax. They say it can carry about like 18% of fragrance load, and it will give you a good throw, but it's a little bit more expensive, but it does have like a creamier soft burn, which I really like. So it all depends. And most likely you'll have a wax blend. And fun fact, I think a candle only needs to have about 51% of soy wax to be considered a soy wax candle or a soy wax blend candle. So it really is important to like read the label. What you want is like 100% whatever wax that you want, if you care about that. If you don't care about that, girl, burn your thing, girl, and live your life. Check the fine print. Next is the fragrance load. That is the percentage of fragrance oil that's included in the wax in order to make the candle. It can go from more mass market candles, which I think is about 6%, all the way to 10, 12 for a soy wax candle, and then all the way to 18-ish for a coconut wax candle. Those numbers can vary, don't come from me, but that's what you want. You want more fragrance load in order for it to throw. They never really put it on the label, so you won't know. They may say like highly concentrated, but they never want to say it because it gives it away. The issue is you also don't want to have too much fragrance in the wax, because if you do, it then starts to pool at the top and you'll see it sweat at the top of the candle. Then you're just like wasting it because it'll evaporate. But fragrance load is really important. Number 3 is the fragrance oil quality or the composition. So this is where the rubber meets the road. You can get some oils and fragrance oils and make something. That's how most people who make homemade candles or small businesses do it. Or you can go to a perfumer or perfume house. I've worked with Firmenich on my first 2 candles, and there's other places you can work with, whether that's Givaudan, Robertet, etc. And they help craft something. And if you have a really good perfumer, they can make something really cool. And some of the best formulations have over 100 ingredients to really create the sensation, smell, or feeling that you want. And that's where you now divert from a cheaper candle. Well, actually, I've heard some stuff, if they make it in mass, they can make really great formulations because they sell so much oil. But in general, that's where you deviate, because you can start to use really expensive ingredients. And once you're in like expensive ingredients, the cost of goods goes up. So to the consumer, the price goes up. But what I would say is like, look at a candle and look who the perfumer is. If they say, or go on the site, you can tell who the superstars are. The great perfumers are rock stars, and you want something that they made. Number 4, the wick. This is really important. If the wick is too small for the vessel, it'll tunnel in. If it's too many wicks, it can also create soot. It's about a balance and the right thickness of the wick. And I love, like, LAFCO has the perfect like thick wick size that burns perfectly for every single vessel. They really, truly have never tunneled for me. Whereas some candles, like standard or cheaper candles, they'll put a standard size wick and it'll almost always tunnel. This is not something you can tell easily unless you're really into candles. But if you burn a few, you'll notice like these wicks are too thin, these wicks are too thick, and then you gotta figure out where you want to be. And 5, the throw, how the candle actually throws scent in the room and around. There's 2 types of throws. There is a cold throw, which is how the candle smells before it's burned, and there's a hot throw, how it smells when it's actually lit. Premium candles are really made more for the hot throw, so that when it burns, it can really transmit. Sometimes cheaper candles will have a really nice smell. You know, when you're in the store smelling all the things and you're like, this smells so good. It's made to entice you with a good cold throw, but I think it's more important to judge a candle on the hot throw. So you need to give it at least like, some say 30 minutes, but I would say even like an hour. Really let the candle do its thing and fill the room, and then you can really tell if it's working. So now that you know what goes into a candle, let's talk about what are you actually paying for when you're paying for expensive candles. Number 1 is the things that justify the price. So you're probably paying for a better wax blend. I've met like wax masters, or I heard about them, and they make the perfect wax to carry a candle. You're probably paying for a really high fragrance load. If you want it to smell good, you have to pay for that oil. So the brand is like spending money, and that then goes into, again, the cost of goods sold and and the price of the candle. You're also paying for the burn time. If you want really long lasting candles that do 60, 70 hours like people like, you have to pay for that, meaning they have to have more wax and more fragrance in order to make a bigger candle in order for it to throw. And then for all brands, you're of course paying for the labor. Some are hand poured, some machine poured. Some say hand poured, but it's like machine hand, and I'm always like, is it hand poured? Because I'm just saying. I'm seeing a hand touch the machine and I'm like, I guess so. But you know, that's neither here nor there, but someone has to do it and someone's working, so you have to pay for the labor. But there's a second bucket of things that you're paying for, like the vessel. If you want a really gorgeous vessel that's not just a glass or a tin, that costs money, like a Trudon vessel and that really great crest. All of that stuff is made, even if it's made en masse, where the cost of goods goes down, it's still crafted and has to be designed, especially if you're doing something custom. Two, you're paying for the heritage and the brand. Like the brand has an intangible value where you go in and you want Jo Malone, you want Diptyque, you want Le Labo, you want Trudon, you want Le Weather, you're paying for that. And then you're also paying for the packaging, like everything from the box to the sticker to the stuffing, all of that has to be made. And once you are buying a premium candle, it comes in a really nice package a lot of the time, like that'll add to the cost. And again, at scale, it's probably some cents or some dollars, so not that much, but they can add a premium on that and a big margin. And fun fact, it costs a lot of money to ship candles because they're so heavy compared to other beauty goods, so they need to factor that into the price too, so that they still make a margin and make money. This is business. So where do budget candles actually win then, if we're talking about all those things in expensive candles? I would say they win in 5 things. Number 1 is the scent throw. Generally, when you go a little bit cheaper with paraffin wax, you can add your fragrance and it can really throw, so people feel like they're getting bang for their buck. They really feel like they're getting something, and that's what you want as a consumer. You don't want to feel like you're wasting money. 2, in experimentation. Because they're cheaper, you can have brands try a lot of different kind of fragrance ideas, whether that is an experimental tomato scent or something seasonal or something inspired by a TV or a movie. You can do it a little bit cheaper, which is great. 3, they're really great for high burn situations, wherever you are burning a lot of candles, like the lobbies, the gyms, anywhere, and you don't want to spend too much money on one candle each time. They're perfect for that. 4, the cost per hour math. I was doing a little calculation here. Like a $15 candle with a 40-hour burn costs about $0.38 per hour, so 38 cents per hour of fragrance. But a $70 candle with a 60-hour burn time costs $1.17 per hour. And the gap is real. The gap is real. So it's worth understanding if you care about like a cost per burn hour. I kind of don't, but because I just want it to smell really good, but for some people, they really do. And 5, seasonality. People who love like a spring, summer, autumn, winter rotation, you want to go a little bit cheaper so that you can switch them out. There's so many great candles that kind of release seasonally. So that brings us to the question, is a $150 candle ever worth it? I'll say this, sometimes yes, and sometimes no. Why yes? A $150 candle that has a really gorgeous vessel that's heavy and feels really nice, has a great wax composition, mostly soy or even coconut or beeswax, and then has a fragrance that has been crafted by a master perfumer at a high fragrance load, plus a great brand, tell a great story, and it can be great home decor. To me, it's worth it. It's worth it. It's worth it. Because sometimes you spend $150 at a dinner, and I'm like, I'd rather have this candle that's burning for a long time. What matters to you? And then sometimes I'm like, no. I'm like, that's a lot. If it's just like a regular scent in a vessel that is not inspiring, and you're telling me it's a luxury brand, but like I can tell from the vessel that it's not even giving that, then it's a no. Or if it's something that I just want to try. I just want to try like a new interesting scent. I don't need to be spending $150. Fun fact, if you want a really nice candle that's interesting, Le Weather's Beetroot, I'll link it down below, one of my favorites. It's so good. I even have the room spray. I'll also link that down below. So basically, it's not about the price. It's about what are you getting in return. Some people want functional benefits, the smell, etc. Some people want emotional benefits, the upliftment, the brand affinity, and all of that good stuff. So if you're looking for some inexpensive candles, I'll just say some off the top of my head. Anything from PF Candle Company is really, really nice. I love Pignon, it's my favorite. That crisp, cedary, deserty kind of scent. I think anything from Trader Joe's has some good scents too. I think they had to do a recall once, but they're back now. I would say anything from, I like Bath & Body Works. I like Sweater Weather. I also would say there's this Whole Foods, I think it's called Balsam and Fir. I might be wrong. I'll link the one down below, but that's really nice. I think it's like $10, at least at the time that I had it. It's really, really good. Oh, and then my favorite is the New Savant. Everything from the New Savant. These are the best ones. You need to get the green tea matcha one. I think it was called Kimberly. They changed the name. The usual, which is like a coffee and chocolate dusty one. Really, really nice. So good. So good. An Architect's Daughter crisp grapefruit pencil shavings. Amazing. Amazing. They're in that $30 to $40 range. Let me know in the comments, what are your favorite affordable candles? Because I want to check them out, and we're a community here helping each other find really good things. So what did we learn today about expensive candles? The people who are buying expensive candles and buy good ones aren't just shopping for the price. They're shopping for the vessel, the wax, the fragrance composition, the fragrance concentration, how it burns, and also how it looks like in their home. So the next time you're like, should I buy this? Should I buy that? Go through all of those factors, and I hope you find something you really, really like. So if you like videos like this, where I do a little bit of the behind the scenes of what happens in the fragrance industry, and I give recommendations, be sure to hit that subscribe button. I can't wait to do more. I love you, Bougie Uncle out.